So, spiritual awakenings, they are real. They are real. Um, if anybody's listening to this video and you've heard spiritual awakening, everybody's talking about it these days. You're not crazy. It is real. It coincides, especially for women, it coincides with midlife, around perimenopause, menopause, where you're just waking up to, is this really my freaking life? That is essentially it. Now, in that process of an awakening, so many different things can happen. And for me, it was about learning. I was pulling from this teacher, that teacher, signing up for this course and that course. I mean, mine coincided with COVID. And I guess you want to call it my event that really woke me up happened in 2019. Now, mind you, my awakening was probably happening prior to that. But like I said, the event that really catapulted me into waking up happened in 2019. And then lucky for us, we were in COVID and lockdown. And it was a period of deep introspection and being with ourselves in that journey of the awakening and learning and deep learning. You pull from so many different things. In my journey, it was like, I'm learning about galactic families. What? 12th dimension? What the hell is that? Light language. Oh, wait, I can speak light language. It's not just gibberish. All of these things were happening simultaneously, and it's so uprooting. It's so disruptive. And for some of you who are listening to this, you might feel like everything in your world is crumbling. I'm here to tell you that you're going to be okay, and you're just going to be stronger on the other side of it. And follow people like myself and anybody else who's out there who've been through it, who are on the other side and can tell you that you're going to be okay, because that is actually what got me through it when I first was going through my awakening. And, I felt dead inside, but I didn't even know I felt dead inside until I woke up. And it was those specific YouTube episodes and people who were just speaking about their experience that I held on to. I watched them regularly. And that was reinforcement enough to me to tell me, you're not going crazy. You're just waking up. You're just waking up. So today, what I want to share with you, and I have it in front of me, so are the 10 things that I quit that changed my life during my awakening, after, whenever you want to, during this period of my spiritual awakening. And to those of you, in the realm of spiritual awakening, we have those who are going through it. And then we have those who are looking at us saying, you're freaking crazy. It's all right. We're going through it. It's real. That's all you need to know. And I want to validate you with that. So the 10 things that I let go of that were life-changing for me during this awakening, that have helped me to really come into knowing who I am at my core. I always do this in my videos. I'm always pointing down my center line, because I know finally, and I'm almost 50, who I am. I'm unshakably me. And so if you're going to get there too, I assure you, you will. So the first thing, alcohol. From as far back as I can remember, 20 years or so, I just know that there was one point when I was living in New York City, and quite lonely and quite depressed. And somebody planted the idea in my head and said, just go get a bottle of wine. Enjoy it on your own. You don't have to drink it with someone else. And I did it, and it was so enjoyable that I always had a bottle of wine in my house. Now, I still do enjoy a glass of wine, but I also was drinking just for the sake of it socially and not really listening to my body. Now, when you're going through this awakening, you're also shifting vibrationally, energetically. Your frequency is changing. We are energetic beings. This is not something outside of us. This is not something woo-woo. This is, there's science backed behind it, checking your energetic aura, all of that stuff. There is information out there. So when you are shifting into a newer version of yourself, an upgraded version of yourself, you're also shifting what you can tolerate. So I kept drinking, and I was drinking a glass or two every night, even after the gym. even after I got healthy and started working out a lot and lifting weights and just trying to get healthy, the alcohol was always there, but I never felt good after. It was different. And so once I said, you know what? I don't really like alcohol anymore. That was a major thing that really just helped me to come into myself. Um, yes, like I said, I do have a glass of wine here and there. It has to be a really good glass, not just cheap off the shelf from the grocery store type, but a really good glass of wine with a good meal. And that is usually just, within good company. Alcohol, yeah, everything has a frequency and a vibration. So the food that you're putting into your body may actually, one thing that you liked a couple of years ago you might not like it anymore. Some of my friends even told me that they didn't like meat anymore. They were actually considering going vegan. Like they could feel the frequency or they could feel the vibration of the meat that they were eating. That's a whole other topic. I am vegan, by the way. As always, vegetarian. I've never had meat, but something about having those animal products didn't align with me either. So that's something that I shifted into. 2, relationships. Oh my God, this is a huge one. I was in relationships that, really, I mean, relationships are a mirror. They hold up who you are, and it reflects, I mean, every relationship is a reflection of what might be going on inside of you. So the relationships that I was having at that time, because my life was so uprooted by this awakening, by me questioning, really, is this my freaking life? If this is this what I have to wake up to every single morning? That was being reflected in my relationships, and they were not fun. They were not enjoyable. They were not nurturing. So there were a couple that, it took me a minute, but I let go of them. And what do you know? When I did, I actually started to feel more peace. There's the other side of that where, I'm talking about choosing to let something go that you just is not vibing with you anymore. The other part of that is, what do you do when friends are walking out on you? And that's what's happened. That was what was happening to me too. I was grasping onto these relationships because I said, we're friends. You're supposed to be here for me. We're supposed to be able to talk. And meanwhile, people were walking out on me. And I came into a place of surrender. That's a whole other topic that we'll go into. And I stopped resisting what was actually happening in my life. And that brought me into a sense of peace as well, because came to a place where, you know what? Let's see. And I had a really good friend, my friend Brenda, who I love. She just said, Priya, because I would get together with her for coffee, and she would say to me, you're looking over here, of all these things that are going wrong, all these people walking out. She goes, pivot just a little bit, and you'll see all the people that are there for you, including me. So when that happens, when all of these relationships are leaving your life, or relationships are ending, it could be anything. It could be partnership, it could be friendship, it could be intimate relationships, marriages. Pivot and look at all the supports that you do have. That was one thing that changed me. Number 3, negative self-talk. Oh, I have an amazing friend. You got to check him out. Big E Astrology. When I had a reading with him, most amazing astrologer. That was one thing that he kept picking up in my chart and told me, like, okay, first things first, your spiritual hygiene, get rid of negative self-talk. And I didn't realize how much I was negatively talking to myself. Just really constantly in this, Kobayashi Maru, if you're a Star Trek fan, of talking about, well, I want to do this, but everything was a but. Yeah, I'm really good at this, but shifting out of the but and moving into a place of and, life changing. That changed my brain wiring. It just, sometimes we're doing things out of pattern and we don't even realize that we're doing it out of a pattern. We're just doing it. And it's just this automatic thing that we've done our whole lives. It's one experience piled on top of another, that is just solidifying that pattern. But the minute you choose to do something differently, and that is around negative self-talk, you're creating a new neural pathway for that to thrive and flourish. So, for example, instead of waking up in the morning saying, oh my God, I'm not, I have to go to the gym, but I'm not good on leg day. I don't really work. I mean, I'm really bad at squats. It was like, no, I am good at squatting today. I'm going to squat 135 and then some, and just really getting in the habit of talking to yourself positively, looking in yourself in the mirror and being like, wow, you look really nice today. And seeing yourself, almost talking about yourself in the third person. Wow, Priya, and just, especially if you're losing friends, using yourself as your own friend and being like, wow, Priya, you are such a great friend to me. And like, yeah, it sounds crazy, but it helped me through. 4, reacting instead of responding. Oh my God. I was so reactive up until recently. It's probably one of the last things that I've shaken is reacting to people. So if somebody were to say to something to me, that was to poke me, I got poked and I was reacting. How could you say that to me? And, if you follow reality transurfing, Vladimir Zeland, he talks about the pendulum. And I was getting swung left to right, left to right, left to right. I was not in my center. So somebody could say something to me and I was reacting this way. Somebody would say something to me and I was reacting this way. I was being controlled essentially by this pendulum and other people's external forces, if you want to say that. So dependent on it. And my day was dependent on these reactions. So let's say that was with my partner and we're having a good morning and everything was good. Yeah, I was in a good place. The minute my partner did something and I reacted, that was the end of my good day. So learning to respond is key. Learning to know when you're about to react and turning it into a response. I have another great teacher. I told you I learned a lot during this 4-year period. Juan Pablo Barahona. He talks about being the observer, being a witness. So when you're in a situation where you're almost being pulled out of your body to react, you step back and you look at this and you look at it with curiosity. Interesting. I'm just noticing that I'm feeling I want to say something to this person. And that 2 seconds of pause can definitely change everything and the trajectory of what's going to happen. When you get into a place of responding, you're really in a place of peace within yourself. You're not feeding into this pendulum. You're staying in your center. 5, gossip and drama. Holy shit. Man, was I caught up in other people's gossip and drama. It was unreal. I would go to the store and say, hi, how are you? And somebody was telling me a story. And then that story started becoming about this person in town, that person in town, what this person was doing, who slept with who. I mean, it was endless. And it became part of my world, this whole gossip and drama. And then I realized I was part of that gossip and drama. And then I was contributing to it. Once I realized I don't want to be a part of this. This just brings me down. I don't want to hear about you. I don't want to hear about that person. I don't want to know anything what that person did 20 years ago. Life changing. It just changed my frequency as well. It shut down. And as I talk about this, and I'm talking to you right now, it just brings you back into peace. All of these things, letting go of all of these things brings you back into peace. So next time somebody's coming up to you and saying hi, and then you see that conversation going into a place of gossip and drama. Oh, did you hear about Johnny? Johnny did this, and then he was doing this, and then did you hear about Molly? Molly's doing this too. Stop it right there. Just walk away or say, yeah, I'm not going to really talk about this right now. And really shift the person into a different conversation. So how are your kids doing? That's literally what I do. If I notice, doesn't mean I'm gonna, we're humans. We're surrounded. Our lives are based on interactions and relationships. We're not going to get rid of this, but we can minimize it. So I find myself doing that when I'm talking to somebody and they're taking me in that direction. Hey, so how are your kids doing? How's your husband? Oh, cool. All right, I'll check you out on Facebook. Peace out. Number 6, resentment and anger. Oh my God. I was so caught up in resentment and anger. It was my driving force. I didn't know who I was without being angry and resentful. And I was going to bed with the things that had happened during the day that I was resentful about. And then in the morning, those same things were happening. And I was like caught up in my own shit show. And I didn't realize I had any control over that. Resentment and anger only keep us stuck. Now, that doesn't mean that, there's this whole thing about forgiveness, right? And it's taken me a while to understand what forgiveness is. But to understand the energy of forgiveness, when we do decide to forgive, when we do decide to let go of that resentment, and when we do decide to let go of that anger, who is it going to benefit? Us. Brings you back into that peace. Letting go of that reactive state helped me to let go of anger. Letting go of, anything that wasn't serving me helped me to let go of resentment. And the forgiveness part came to me that because we are all doing the best that we can in any given moment, given what we've been given. We don't know until we know. So in this moment, I only knew how to be this way. So these situations happened. There was no need for me to be resentful anymore. I needed to forgive myself because I didn't know any better. 7, watching the news. My news these days is relying on other people for what's going on in the world. Now, I do, of course, keep track of the things that are happening in the world. I do want to keep my finger on the pulse about it. But compared to COVID 2020, I woke up every day rather than meditating. I was waking up watching MSNBC all day long. I was working from home on my computer. MSNBC was on in the background. I was going to bed with that, listening to the statistics. And then after COVID, then I realized there was more of this. And it took me a while. I thought, I can't let go of this. I need to be informed. I need to know. And I didn't realize how much it was affecting me, how much it was affecting my sleep, my energy, how polarizing it is. I don't care if you watch Fox News. I don't care if you watch MSNBC. I don't care what side you're on. I'm on my side, down the middle. My feet are planted on the ground and I know who I am. So I don't need to be polarized. I am actually pretty repelled by anything that's polarizing and I walk away from it, just as I do drama and gossip, because it takes me away from my center. So I don't get caught up in it anymore. I keep myself informed. I keep my politics to myself. I keep my beliefs. Yes, you can be an activist, but I'm not thumping on your head for you to believe what I believe because it's pointless. I don't need to be creating pendulum forces around me as well. Number 8, my phone before bed. Major thing. Major thing. Now, I was, I want to say good, it's taken me a while to get back into reading. I used to read quite a bit. I remember the days when my entire weekend was about reading books, and it's gone away from that, especially with technology, reading books on your phone. I've recently, in the past couple of months, gone back to reading and reading before bed. Before I just was on my phone. I was scrolling ridiculously through social media, and then you go to bed, and then you wonder what's going on in your life, what you go to bed with, what you do prior to bed is reinforced the next day. And so rather than going to bed looking through what Janet ate for dinner on social media, I was like, I'm going to read some books that are going to empower me. And so actually I'm a Gemini. I do multiple things at once. It's just my nature. Double Gemini for any of you who are into astrology. So I'm actually reading two big books. One is Neville Goddard, the other is Vladimir Zeland. And those are about reprogramming your mind, and specifically about how to do it prior to bed, how to reprogram your subconscious mind before bed. So once I started doing that, once I got in the habit of that and got out of the habit of using my phone before bed, again, life changer. I've been waking up happy. I've been waking up centered. I've been waking up ready for my day. I don't I mean, yes, I'm still having crazy dreams and stuff, but that's unrelated. I think that's just me. But I know what I'm doing in my life now. I know what I'm creating, and it's not dependent on anything external or anyone else. It's just on me. So if you're looking to get empowered, start shifting that. Number 9, saying yes to things that I don't want to say yes to. I was yes man before because I was such a people pleaser. Such a people pleaser. I can trace this all the way back. I don't even know how far back to 7 is the age that I'm coming back. I just wanted friends so badly. So I've always done things to please friends, going on a ski trip and everybody's carrying their equipment back to the car and I'm taking 3 people's equipment. Why? Because I want them to be my friend or because I want them to say thank you? Like, screw that. I stopped being a people pleaser, and with that was saying yes to the things that I don't want to say yes to. I was constantly saying yes to even just coffee with somebody. Other people controlled my time because I just kept saying yes. And I didn't want to do it. I wanted to say no. So I came into this whole period, I came into a place of understanding how powerful no is, or how powerful it is to say, yeah, I just can't today, maybe another time. And that with certain people, I never have to say yes. I just don't have to anymore. And that's empowering in itself. So just know that you have that available to you. You don't always have to say yes. And number 10, let me reach over here. Yeah, well, I want to say the biggest thing that I quit was having people tell me, be realistic, was listening to people. I quit thinking in a scarce mindset. I am I wish I could share my mindset with you, because when people talk about abundance, and abundance in every area of your life, abundance is not just about money. My mind is so expanded and I don't even recognize myself. It's so different from when I was going through this awakening, when I was transitioning to coming into this place. I started off so scarce. Everything. When I spent money, there was fear. When I was thinking about work, it was based on the traditional idea of work and working for someone and retiring at 65 and putting all your money away. And then as I came into this place, one of the things that I question is, wait a second, we're not promised tomorrow. We literally can drop dead this second. I could drop dead as I'm talking to you right now. Why are we wasting time? And I kept asking financial advisors, I kept asking everybody. I was like, is there a different way to invest this money? Because it doesn't make sense for me. I'm putting it away till 65. But what if I don't even live till 65? Nobody could answer that question for me. The only thing that I got was, well, you're going to make somebody really happy. So that really helped me to shift into thinking outside the box as far as work and money and abundance goes. So now I have multiple jobs. I'm creating different things and multiple streams of income. So I quit listening to what mainstream says is the right way to do it. Forge your own path. And that is what the spiritual awakening, this whole thing period, is about. You're forging your own path. And everybody kind of goes through an awakening in their own way in their life. But some people are not going to wake up as much as others. So, depending on where you are and what you're questioning and how you're moving through your life, I don't know. That's going to be dependent on you. For me, it was this. I felt like a volcano, literally. Like there was this bubbling up, and then, and then now that that volcano has settled, it's a completely different mountain, completely different shape. And who knows if there's going to be another eruption that's going to catapult me into another version of myself. Vladimir Zeland talks about reality shifting, these different versions of yourself that exist. Even Neville Goddard talks about that. They're all there. You've got infinite versions of yourself, infinite realities that exist. And when you're going through this spiritual awakening, you're literally pulling those versions closer to you. You're shedding the older versions and drawing in the version of yourself that is the most aligned to who you want to be right now. And it can always change. So, that being said, those are the 10 things, I think I said 11, that I let go of during my awakening. Like, subscribe, and share this channel as I share more about this journey and really start talking about shifting from yourself. We don't have to wait years. It can happen overnight, and it just happens with simple practices. Check out my description if you want to know more. I'm here to support you, and enjoy your awakening.